Welcome to Budget Beauty, where I help you look flawless for less. Welcome back, and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen, and this is Budget Beauty. We do everything beauty on a budget, and that includes videos you requested. During December, I unboxed a ton, and I mean a ton, of advent calendars. One of those advent calendars was the Wet n Wild calendar. Spoiler alert, it was really, really good. The calendar was one of the best that I unboxed during advent calendar season. I will actually link that video down below if you want to check it out. And in that video, I asked if you would be interested in a full face of Wet n Wild, utilizing everything that came in the advent calendar, and that I would pick up the rest of the Wet n Wild products to create a full look. So guess what? Guess what we're doing today? A full look of Wet n Wild using everything from the advent calendar and then the other products that I picked up to create a cohesive full face of Wet n Wild. I'm actually really excited for today's video. So if you're excited too, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, turn your bell on because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. Don't forget to check out the description box down below where I will link the Wet n Wild unboxing of the advent calendar, and I will link all of the products in today's video so that if you're interested in picking up any of these Wet n Wild products, all you have to do is click the link down below. I'll also link my favorite beauty subscription boxes, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and of course, come follow me on TikTok for a little bit more beauty on a budget. I'm so excited for a full face of Wet n Wild. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in. All I have done so far is my skincare for the day, applied my SPF, and let's get started on today's look. So in the advent calendar, we received a primer. This is the 5-in-1 Essence Primer Liquid. Now in that video, I had said that I didn't even know that Wet n Wild had primers. That was complete news to me, so I'm excited to try this out. So it is definitely a more liquid formula. I would say a cross between a toner and a serum. It's a little bit thicker than a typical toner. It has no scent to it and it feels really nice on the skin. I definitely feel like I have a little bit of hydration. And like I said, I didn't know they carried a primer, so that's pretty exciting. So I did go ahead and order a foundation. Now I have used Wet n Wild's foundations in the past and really enjoyed them. So I decided to go ahead and get their Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy Foundation. I love anything glowy and dewy and hydrating. So this spoke to me. I do have normal to dry skin and I just love a good glow. So I definitely wanted to pick up the dewy version, and I have mine in the shade Buff Beige. I am a light to medium neutral undertone. So this foundation actually has this type of applicator, which I like. It makes it a little bit easier to apply to the skin. You don't have to actually put it in your hand. You can just brush it onto the skin. I will say that it has an interesting smell. I don't know how to even describe it. It has a little bit of a scent to it, not a bad scent, but not a scent that I typically smell in foundations. If you know what I'm talking about, let us know down in the comments. And then I'm going to use my brush here to just spread the foundation, and then we'll blend it in with a beauty sponge. I would say that this is definitely a lighter coverage foundation. You can still see imperfections in my skin, dark spots, freckles, that type of thing, but it is blending out really, really nicely. And it's definitely giving my skin a dewy look, which is exactly what I was hoping. Let me go ahead and apply just a little bit more, and let's see if we can build up the coverage. So I am able to build it up a little bit more, where it's going from more of a light coverage foundation to more of a medium. It's definitely not full coverage. I can still see, you know, my little sunspot here, and again, any imperfections, but I don't always love a good full coverage foundation anyways. I kind of prefer more of a medium coverage. So there's my foundation fully blended out. It actually looks really nice. I really love the whole dewy, glowy vibe. So for concealer, I picked up the Wet n Wild Incognito Concealer. I've used this concealer in the past and it's really, really nice. If I remember right, it's a little bit more of a light to medium concealer for coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that to my under eye and blend that out with my beauty sponge. So this is definitely more of a light coverage concealer. You can see if you have dark circles, one coat of this is not going to cover your dark circles. It's blending out really nicely. It's not settling into my fine lines and wrinkles. I have quite a bit of fine lines under my eyes because I am 48, and this isn't settling in, but it is definitely more of a light coverage concealer. Let me see if I can go ahead and let me see if I can build it up a little bit to get a little bit more coverage. I was definitely able to build it up. You can see that I have more of a medium coverage now in my concealer, which I like. Again, I don't love a full coverage product. I feel like it can look kind of cakey and age you a little bit. So definitely going in with a couple of different layers of this concealer makes your under eye bright. No, it's not settling, and I think it looks really nice. In the advent calendar, we received the Bare Focus Clarifying Finishing Powder in Translucent. So this is what I'm going to use to set my under eye and set my face. I always use my little Tati Beauty Blendiful sponge to set my under eyes. It's definitely leaving a little bit of a white cast versus being a true translucent setting powder. But as I continue to tap it in, I feel like that white cast is dissipating a little bit. Let's go ahead and set my entire face with it and see if we still have a little bit of a white cast. I'm going to use my little Beauty Blender sponge. This is what I always use to set my face. I like to use the same tools I normally use when testing new makeup so that I can see how it actually performs. I'll link this down below if it's still available. I've had it forever. I got it on Sephora's website, and the Tati Beauty sponge is no longer available, but any angled little pad would work to set your under eye. So I like to take my sponge and just press in the powder. So overall, this looks really nice. It definitely didn't leave a white cast once I was able to press it into the skin. My face feels really nice and set. I don't feel any tackiness from the foundation or the concealer. This is actually a nice setting powder. Now I did go ahead and pick up a bronzer. This is in the shade Sunset Strip Tease. We didn't get a bronzer in the advent calendar, which makes sense because everybody's skin tone is different, so everybody would need a different bronzer. But I've heard really, really good things about this. And we're going to apply it with the brush that came in the advent calendar. This is one of their big fluffy face brushes. And like I said, when I unboxed this, it feels really nice. It's a nice soft brush. And I'm going to put that on my cheek and where the sun would hit my skin. Ooh, can you see that? This is a glowy bronzer. Wow. That is so pretty. It looks very natural, very sun-kissed. You can see that it added color. Here's the non-bronzed side. Here's the bronzed side. So it definitely added the warmth, but I love that it's a little bit glowy. I forgot that it was more of a glowy bronzer, and I'm not mad about it. I'll also say that this brush is really, really nice. It is very soft, and it's actually applying the product flawlessly. So there's the bronzer. I love this. Like, I really, really like this bronzer. It's pretty. It gave me a nice glow, but not a glittery glow, a natural sun-kissed glow. I'm impressed, and I really, really like this brush, like really like this brush. So next up is our blush. This is in the shade Bed of Roses, and this is just a really pretty pink, rosy kind of corally blush. To pick that up on a little bit denser brush, and we're going to tap that into the skin. It's a little bit lighter than I was expecting it to be. I mean, compared to what it looks like in the pan, it's definitely a little bit lighter. Let me see, kind of like the foundation and the concealer, if I can build it up a little bit to get a little bit more color payoff. I will also say that it's very powdery. I mean, there is a ton of kick up in my pan, so it's a very powdery blush. Really powdery brush. I don't know that I love that. I feel like it even gives a little bit of kind of fallout on the face, which isn't normal for blush. So that is about as opaque as I can get it. Definitely a little bit light for my skin tone. Definitely not as blushy as I would like. And I don't love how powdery of a formula this is. And then in the advent calendar, this was the final day. I was so excited for this. This is the Blossom Glow Highlight. Wet n Wild's highlighters, perfection. They're absolutely glowy and beautiful and sink into the skin, and they're so incredibly affordable. I was so excited about this. So I'm going to pick this up on my highlighter brush. I also love the pan embossing. I mean, absolutely beautiful embossing in both the bronzer and the highlight. I'm going to just apply this to the high points of my cheek. That's really pretty. It's really pretty. It's definitely glowy, but it's a little bit more of a natural glow. However, it does sink into the skin. Now, if you watch my channel, you know I love a scene from Space Highlights. So for me, this is pretty natural, but I am able to go back in and build it up a little bit to get a little bit more bold highlight. I'm going to put a little bit above my brows, on my forehead, and my Cupid's bow. So there's the highlight. That is really, really beautiful. Like I said, the Wet n Wild highlighters are really, really nice quality. And again, I love how it just sinks into the skin, doesn't sit on the surface. And in the advent calendar, we got this cute little 5-pan color icon palette. This is the Forget Me Not palette. It's really pretty. It's more of a pinky toned, purple toned palette. I remember the Wet n Wild formula of eyeshadow being pretty nice. So I'm excited to try this out. We're going to use all of the shades in the palette, and it looks like we have one true matte, which is this kind of neutral taupey shade. This pink and purple are mattes with sparkle, mattes with a little bit of shimmer, and then these are your 2 shimmer shades. So I don't know how this look is going to turn out, but I'm going to go ahead and start in my crease, setting my crease with the 1 matte in the palette. I'm going to pick that up on a big fluffy brush. This brush is from Sigma, and I'm going to put that in the crease and blend. And you know, I always like to bring my crease shade a little bit above my actual crease because I have hooded eyes and I want to be able to still see it when my eyes are open. So I'm going to buff this in. Pretty shade. It isn't as pigmented and bold as I was hoping, considering it is the only true matte in the palette. I mean, I definitely see the color, and it is a perfect transition shade. I'm very curious to see how these mattes with shimmer perform as actual mattes, because for me, a palette that has only 1 true matte and 4 kind of shimmer shades is definitely not a usable palette for me, because I do like to add depth to my look. So I'm going to continue buffing this matte in the crease, and then we'll test out some of these mattes with shimmer. So there's about as deep and dark and pigmented as I can get that matte. It is definitely a light toned matte. So I'm going to go into the deepest shade in the palette, which is a purple. And like I said, it's more of a matte with a shimmer, and I'm going to use the other Wet n Wild brush that we received in the advent calendar. This one's a little bit denser, a little less fluffy brush, and I'm going to pick up that shade and focus that on building up some depth in the outer corner. And because it is the only other really usable matte shade, I'm going to bring that over into my crease a little bit and over onto my lid, just again to build up some depth. Now I can see that this shade definitely has a little bit of shimmer to it, but once applied to the eyes, it definitely looks a little bit more like a traditional matte. Unless you get it in the right lighting and twist just right, now I can see a little bit of the shimmer, but it's really performing like a regular matte, which I'm so grateful for. I definitely needed something for some depth. I will also say that I'm definitely getting some good pigmentation from this shade. I'm getting quite a bit of color payoff. It's blending beautifully. It is a purple leaning matte, so sometimes purples can be pretty patchy. This is not patchy at all. It's actually quite impressive how nicely this is layering. And then I'm going to go back into that first matte on that same fluffy brush from Sigma, and I'm going to use that just to blend everything out. So far, I'm really liking this. I think those 2 mattes performed really nicely. As always, I'm going to use my NYX glitter glue. I use this every time I apply shadow, and I want to give the shimmers in this palette the best chance possible, and that is always using some glitter glue. So I'm going to tap that on my lid. And then as always, I want to apply shimmers with my finger and with a brush to show you both application methods. So I'm going to pick up the darker shimmer in the palette, which is actually this really pretty kind of shifty pink shade. You can see that it shifts from pink to gold. And I'm going to apply that on the outer about 3/4 of my lid. So I didn't get much payoff with the first go around into that shimmer, but once I add a little bit more, it's layering beautifully, and that shimmer is stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. Like I said, it's kind of a rosy purple shimmer. Oh, it's so beautiful. So I have to say, when I first tapped it on my lid, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but man, did that build up so nicely. And then using more of a flat kind of dense brush, I'm going to pick up this other shade, which again is similar to a matte, but has a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to see how this translates on the eye, and I'm going to put that on the inner portion of my lid. And then that one I'm applying with a brush. Okay, that is beautiful as well. So that shade definitely is more on the lines of a shimmer than the one I used in the outer corner. That one can definitely be used as a matte, and you wouldn't even know that it had the shimmer in it. But this pink shade is definitely leaning way more towards a shimmer than a matte. But I will say it looks really beautiful on the inner portion of my lid next to that other pink shade. And it's going on really nicely with the brush. I'm getting immediate color payoff, and then I'm able to build that up. Then I'm going to take the kind of champagne colored shimmer, and I'm going to put that on my inner corner as my inner corner highlight. That is pretty. It's definitely similar to that light pink one, but it's a little bit more gold leaning. So it's definitely different when applied to the eyes, and it does make a really beautiful inner corner highlight. It would also be beautiful on the brow bone. And then for my lower lash line, I'm going to pick up that dark purple shade that we deepened the look up with and buff that on the lower lash line. I'm going to stay very, very close to my lash line. And then I'm going to pick up that pink shimmer that we applied with our finger on my brush, and I'm going to buff that over that purple shade just to give a little bit of sparkle, kind of diffuse that out. So there's my eye look, and now I'm going to use the Kohl liner from Wet n Wild in Breakup Proof. That's the color. It's a little bit more of a deep dark brown liner, which you know I am 100% a liquid liner, black liner girl, but I'm going to use this. We're going to test it out, see how it applies as a liner, and then I'm going to pop this in my waterline as well. I really like this. It's kind of a purpley brown, so it pairs beautifully with this eye look. I am going to draw just a tiny wing. It's also pretty creamy. I mean, it's tugging a little bit, but I think once it warms up a bit on the eye, it won't tug as bad. So I went ahead and applied the liner off camera, and once it warmed up, it glided on beautifully. And I actually really like it. Being a liquid liner girl, being a black liner girl, I think this is perfect with this eyeshadow palette. I will say that I did notice a few things I'm not loving when I got a little up close and personal in my lighted mirror, and we'll talk about that at the end. We'll go over all the products, and I'll also share a wear test with you at the end. I'm going to wear this makeup all day, and I'll give you guys an update on how it wore as well. But like I said, I'm noticing a few things I'm not super excited about. And in our advent calendar, we did get the Mega Volume Mascara. Now, I've used Wet n Wild mascaras in the past. Some I liked, some I didn't like. I will say that I do like how fluffy this wand is. And we also received the Wet n Wild Eyelash Curler, which is a tried and true in an advent calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and test this out, curl my lashes. This eyelash curler is performing really nicely. And like I said, when I unboxed it, it feels like really nice quality. I'm pleasantly surprised. And now let's test out the mascara. Now I definitely feel like it's a little bit thinner formula. Although I'm getting the length and volume, I feel like it's going to take a few coats to build it up and get the mascara look that I like, which is a little bit more bold. But the first impression, I do like it. Like I said, it's just a little bit thinner formula. So let me go ahead and do another coat and see if I'm able to build it up a little bit more. So there is 2 coats on that eye and 1 coat on that eye. You're definitely able to build this up. There's 2 coats of the mascara. I'm going to let this simmer while we work on our brows. So I did go ahead and order the Wet n Wild Retractable Brow Pencil in medium brown. I'm really excited to test out their brow products. So one end is a spoolie, and it looks like a nice spoolie. And then the other end is a little bit more angled liner. Now I actually like the angled because it's easier to fill in and draw in those hair-like strokes. So I'm going to angle it to the shape of my brow and pull it over, just kind of filling in my brows. I have pretty thick brows, so I don't really have to draw in a lot of hair-like strokes. I more am in the mode of filling in my brows to any sparse areas. I will say I really appreciate the angle of this. It's making it really easy to have the correct brow shape, but also fill it in. I really like this. I love the shape of this brow pencil. And then I'm going to take this spoolie and just kind of brush my brows down and into place before we go in with some brow gel. But before we do, let's do a third and final coat of the Mega Volume Mascara. So here are my lashes with 3 coats of the mascara. Now, I was definitely able to get volume, blackness, and depth in my lashes, but it took a lot of work. I mean, having to use 3 coats when a lot of mascaras I have to do 1 or 2 coats. I mean, it's a little bit more work, but overall, I got the effect I wanted out of the mascara. And then in our advent calendar, we also got the Wet n Wild Clear Brow Gel. So I'm going to use that to set my brows. I just got my brows waxed yesterday, but I do have crazy brows. They get really long and they're a little wild, so I always use a brow pencil and then I always set with a brow gel. So I'm going to brush this clear brow gel through my brows, again, just to set them in place. Let me go ahead and let that brow gel dry down just a little bit. Also in our advent calendar, we got a clear lip gloss. So I didn't pick up any other Wet n Wild lip products because I'm just going to apply this clear gloss. I want to see if it's sticky. I want to see if it's glossy, just how it feels on the lips. It smells like vanilla cupcakes, which is not a bad thing. This feels really nice. It is not sticky at all. And I can smell and taste that vanilla cupcake, which is yummy, and it looks really pretty. It gave my lips a very pretty shine, a more natural, your lips but better look. It feels really nice, very hydrating to the lips. I'm honestly pleasantly surprised. And then lastly, I picked up the Natural Finish Setting Spray. I used to love Wet n Wild setting sprays. I haven't purchased them in a long time, but I thought when we're doing a full face of Wet n Wild, we need a setting spray. So let me go ahead and set my face. The sprayer on this is really nice. It's not aggressive, but it's not this wimpy spray. It's kind of right in the middle. It feels really good. I feel like it instantly added some hydration to my skin, and I would much prefer a more dewy, glowy setting spray. I definitely didn't want a matte. They do sell a matte, so if you're oily skinned, they have a matte setting spray. I wanted something, again, more natural or dewy, and I'm really liking how this is feeling and setting down. And of course, I'll be sharing with you, like I said, a wear test. I'll let you know if this locked in my makeup. I am actually headed to work out at the gym this morning. I have some errands to run, so it's going to be a busy day, and we're gonna see how this makeup wears. Like I said, I'm heading to the gym, so let me go ahead and brush my hair, put it in a more appropriate ponytail for the gym, and I'll be back to share my final thoughts on this full face of Wet n Wild. So here's the completed look. Full face of Wet n Wild makeup. Now I definitely have some thoughts upon first application, as well as looking up close and personal in a lighted mirror, and then I'm going to be sharing with you at the very end, of course, that wear test. So let's start with the primer. Again, this is the 3-in-1 Essence Primer. I liked this. I don't know if it helped with the longevity of the makeup, but I feel like it added the hydration that I needed to my skin and made a nice base to apply makeup. So, and again, this came in the advent calendar. I didn't know this product existed, so it was nice to try it out. And so far, I think this is a great product. And then moving on to the dewy foundation. I like the applicator style of this foundation. Like I mentioned, it's definitely light coverage. I was able to build it up to medium coverage. And looking at my skin closely in a lighted mirror, the foundation looks really nice. It definitely added a luminosity, a dewy, a glow that you could still see after setting my face with powder. And I've tried the Wet n Wild foundations in the past and really enjoyed them. It's one of the most affordable foundations out there, and honestly, I like this one. I'm looking forward to using it more. Now, as far as the Incognito Concealer goes, so upon first application, definitely light coverage. I was able to build it up to get medium coverage. And like I said, when I applied this, it didn't settle into my fine lines and wrinkles. However, looking up close in that lighted mirror, I can't say if it's this or the powder, but my under eyes definitely look crepey. They look a little bit crepey. I think it's the concealer and the powder. And I think it's the concealer because not only do my under eyes look crepey, but they look white. They definitely have a little bit of a creamy white look to them, and I can definitely see all of my fine lines and wrinkles under my eyes. I'll zoom you in. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it very well, but yeah, I think it's a mix between the concealer and the powder. I don't love this. I don't love this. I don't know. I may try this one more time with my normal under eye setting powder and see how it performs. Then I'll really be able to know, is it the concealer? Is it the powder? Is it both? As of right now, I'm not loving this. I'm also not loving the powder because like I said, I don't know if my under eye issue is a mix of both or the concealer. I will also say that looking at my skin with the powder, it's a little bit ashy. I have a little bit of an ashiness, especially where I didn't apply other product like bronzer or blush. And even on my forehead, it looks a little cakey and ashy. So I don't love this powder. And like I said, even when I applied it, it gave a little bit of a white cast. I thought that it had blended out a little bit better than it did. I honestly don't know that I'll reach for this again. I probably will test it out one more time along with the concealer to kind of get my full thoughts, but yeah, these two things I'm not loving. And then moving into the bronzer. Now, upon first application and even now, I think the color is beautiful. I do love that it gives a little bit of a glow. However, it's very glowy. And listen, I love glow. I love glow and luminosity, but this is really, really glowy, like to the point that it's a little overkill. So I like this bronzer, but I would definitely pair this with a matte bronzer. So I would bronze my face with a matte bronzer and then go lightly over the top with this more luminous bronzer. I think this product performed beautifully. It looks really nice on the skin. There's no powderiness. There's no patchiness. It's really, really beautiful. It's just even too sparkly for me. And in order for me to get the bronzed effect that I like, the deepness, I have to use a decent amount of this powder. So I definitely am going to continue to use this. I like this product. I just need to pair it with a matte bronzer. Absolutely love the brush. In my unboxing video, I said sometimes you can find these at the Dollar Tree. They sell them at Walmart. I highly recommend this face brush. It's really, really nice. It's so soft and it applied the product so nice. I really like this. And then moving on to the blush. I don't like the blush either. Looking at my skin up close, I have no blush color. I have no blush. It looks like I have bronzer and highlighter. I don't have any pinkness to my cheeks. I'm definitely going to have to go in with another blush to get a little bit of a blushed look to my face. I don't like this. It was super, super powdery. It went everywhere. It just had all this kick up in the pan. I don't even know, honestly, if I got a deeper shade, if I would like it, because I just don't like the formula and the powderiness of this blush. So this is definitely a no-go for me. The highlighter is a go for me. I really, really love this highlight. I think it's beautiful. And paired with that bronzer, I have all the glow that I would need. I think if I used a matte bronzer and then brushed some of the luminous bronzer over the top and then this highlighter, I think you would have this beautiful glow from within, sun-kissed skin, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing when I apply my makeup tomorrow. But like I said, the Wet n Wild highlighter is overall a fantastic product. Now, really for me, the star of the show is this eyeshadow palette. It's beautiful. My eye look is beautiful. These shimmers are stunning. The matte shimmer, matte. This is definitely, in my opinion, a matte. These two, beautiful. These three shimmers, beautiful. I really like this. I like that all of these colors look different on the eye. All of them performed beautifully. It's really pretty. I really like this palette. I remember being impressed with the Wet n Wild little mini icon palettes, and this one, equally as impressed. I also enjoyed the brush. I thought it was packed nice and dense enough that I was able to pack in the color. You could even use this to buff on the lower lash line. Again, the Wet n Wild brushes are really good. Now moving into the liner, I actually really like this liner. It's definitely more of a natural looking liner for me. Like I said, I do a liquid black liner, but I can see it in my waterline. I can see it on my lid. Oh, this eyeshadow. This eyeshadow is incredible. Sidetracked with eyeshadow. But overall, I like this liner. I can see me using this a lot in my waterline because it is that kind of browny purple color, which is unique to my collection. It's also a twist up, which I appreciate. You don't have to sharpen it. I'm impressed. Now the mascara, the Mega Volume. It's okay. Like I said, it's a pretty thin consistency. 3 coats for me to get my lashes looking somewhat where I want them to be. still not even as bold and dark and voluminous as some of the other mascaras out there. I will use this, but this is definitely not something that I can see myself repurchasing in the future. However, I can see myself repurchasing this brow pencil. I love the spoolie. I love the angle of the pencil. I have to say, honestly, this more angled design is quickly becoming a favorite for me. It was so easy to fill my brows in. I applied the brow pencil at the correct angle and pulled the color on. It was really easy and effortless. I really like this. I can't wait to continue using this, and this is definitely something I'll be adding to my makeup arsenal. I also like the clear brow gel. My brows feel set but not crunchy, so I like that. It's just a clear brow gel. And I typically don't like to spend a lot of money on brow products because I feel like they perform pretty much all the same. Same with clear brow gel. I mean, I would buy this again because Wet n Wild is so affordable and it did its job of setting my brows in place. I love the lip gloss. What is this called? This is Mega Slicks Lip Gloss in Clear. I can see myself buying some colored shades in this. It is so nice. It is still on my lips after getting ready for the day, doing my hair, putting in some earrings, getting ready to go to the gym, and it is not sticky, but my lips feel extremely hydrated, and I love that little bit of shine. I mean, I'm not even wearing a lip product, and I feel like this is my lips, but better. And then lastly, the setting spray, the natural finish. My face feels really good. It's not tacky, but it feels set, and it doesn't feel dry. It feels hydrated. I like this. I'm excited to continue using this as well. If they have a luminous setting spray, I'll probably pick that up in the future. This was so affordable, but this worked really well. My skin feels great. So let me go ahead and pop up here on the screen a wear test after wearing this makeup all day. That's going to be about 12 hours for me. I'll let you know how the product stayed on my skin. Did I notice anything that I didn't love? Are my under eyes going to become more crepey? My face more crepey? I'll put it all up here on the screen for you. But I feel like we had some wins and we had some fails in the full face of Wet n Wild. But some of these products are going to become holy grails for me and products that I will continue to use and repurchase, which makes me really excited. Like I said, I think the winner chicken dinner is the palette. The palette is incredible. The palette and the brow pencil and the lippy, so good. So again, I'll link everything down below for you, as well as the unboxing of the Wet n Wild Advent Calendar if you want to see everything that came in the calendar. Oh my gosh, I forgot the curler. This came in the calendar. This is great. Like I said, it's a nice, sturdy, high quality eyelash curler. I really like it. It's definitely one I'm going to keep. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn your bell on so you never miss a future video. Everything is linked down below for you, as well as my favorite beauty boxes. And come follow me on TikTok for a little bit more beauty on a budget. So that's a wrap on a full face of Wet n Wild.